Wow, Manchester United have won by 2-1 against Fulham at Craven Cottage. And you lot saw in the stream, I didn't believe right to the end. I did not believe right to the end, but this team does. This team does, and you know, many fans do as well. And that was another reminder as to why we should keep believing right until the end. It was absolutely fantastic to win in that manner. It was great to show that resilience, to keep going. The game should have been out of sight with the chances that we had in the first half, definitely. I agree with that. But when you're not quite at your best, you need your top players to come through. And Garnacho is one of them. He really, really is. And he's a young kid who's only just coming to the forefront. He's had to wait for his chance. But my God, did he take it? And I'm going to talk about that in a minute because everything's going to be about Garnacho. But I'm going to talk about a bunch of other players who I don't think will get a lot of praise today. I'm actually going to start with David De Gea. David De Gea ensures we don't concede multiple goals today. Don't get me wrong. Were they out of this world saves? Were they world-class saves? No, they didn't need to be. There were saves that, you know, a keeper of his magnitude should, a keeper of his ability should make, but he still made them. Do you know what I mean? He still made them, and that was really, really important. I think there was a header that he saved. There was a point-blank shot and spin from Vinicius that he saved as well. And he needed to save those, especially as Fulham were becoming stronger and getting on top of us. So that's the first one. I want to big up Malacia as well, because I think for him to play at right back, being a left back, Ten Hag has spoken so much about, he can play there and stuff like that. And this is the first game without Dalot. And I thought essentially at the beginning, Willian was picking up a lot of space. He was getting him into little pockets, drifting in off the left-hand side. Looked like Malacia was letting him in a little bit too easy. But as I think what he showed, Malacia, was that he could play himself out of that and work it out. And the team as well, to a certain extent. But it had to be on Malacia because I think he kept his performance above a level where it didn't look like he needed saving, where, we're going to have to put Lindelof right back, bring on Maguire or something like that. He just did his thing. He won his duels. I think he was really physical, more so second half when he had a lot more defending to do. I know we conceded with him high up the pitch, Bruno trying to keep the ball on, but I don't put that on Malacia, but I think he deserves credit. Casemiro, again, don't get me wrong, was he at his sparkling best? No. But again, in the key moments and understanding where to be and how to impose himself on the game at certain areas and having an understanding of his positioning, look what he does for the first goal. He nips in, I think it's on Kearney, gets the ball, and then we're on the attack, and that starts the attack for us to score. So he had a big say in the game. Christian Eriksen, actually, who's my man of the match. Again, I'm going to finish on Garnacho, because I want to finish on a high. But Christian Eriksen has had a big say on today's game. Don't get me wrong. You know how much I love Christian Eriksen. You know how much I bang on about him. And the last sort of month or so, I think is a really fair assessment to say, you know what? Christian Eriksen hasn't been at the level that he was the 2 months before that. I understand that. A few people were kind of saying, we have to, be honest, he hasn't really been at the level that he has been and that he can be, which is detrimental to Man United because the thing is that that's fine if Christian Eriksen is going to be off the boil or not play very well, or if he's ill and can't play, etc., or if he's got a little bit of an injury. But we see if he's not at it, playing well, or if he's not playing, we don't have anybody in that position who is that good on the ball. And you look at his pass for the goal that we get with Garnacho, the weight of the pass in the dying seconds of the game, can't afford to get it wrong. And that's why I can't afford not to talk about how important that is. Again, I'll talk about how Garnacho's side of it is and how he scores, but if that falls to Fred in that last minute, your confidence of him delivering that pass is not there. If that falls to a McTominay, maybe if it falls to a leggy Bruno who's getting frustrated and tired and he's been running around all game, he might just overhit the pass, or a Rashford. But it falls to the right player at the right time, on purpose as well, because Eriksen plays the ball out to Garnacho, then he goes and gets it back and then lays him in. So it's a fantastic piece of play from him. And he gets his first goal for Manchester United as well, the 150th of his whole career. I think that was his 150th goal of his whole career, something like that. But his first goal for Manchester United, that's what I do know as a fact. And he should have had a second one just before half-time as well with his left foot. He was really disappointed with that. So that's another plus. And Martial coming through unscathed is a plus, and his involvement in the first goal as well, although he again wasn't at his sparkling best, his involvement in the first goal, getting on the half turn, Bruno, good run, busting a gut to get into a shooting position, tries to shoot, it takes deflection, and goes to Christian Eriksen. But yeah, I think Martial deserves credit as well. And in general, again, before I get to Garnacho, because I know you got to wait for it, I think this team has an incredible knack of not giving up. if you're Fulham, you're thinking, how did we lose that? We should have at least got a draw. We could potentially even have won that game, albeit we had the chances to put it out of sight in the first half. So you could argue a draw was probably a fair result, but you didn't feel like they deserved to lose the game. But this team has a way, and this is where Erik Ten Hag is perfect for us. He's allowing us, he's showing us, and he's instilling the mentality within the players to keep going. You know, to the point where, I was sat on that desk there feeling a bit down, feeling like, do you know what? I can't see this happening. I just don't think we're going to get I predicted a draw. I thought it'd be tight, and it looked like it was on course to be that. But they just find a gear to be kind of dominated in the second half by Fulham and not playing very well, to then find the moment. And we found it with Scott McTominay, who absolutely had to score from about 6 or 7 yards out of a header before probably about the 88th minute. Then you're thinking, that's probably the last big chance we're going to get. But they managed to find another clear-cut opportunity and take it. And if I look at us on a whole, from where we were at the beginning of the season, now we're at this break, I don't think we're ahead of schedule. I've seen some people say we're ahead of schedule, but I definitely don't think we're behind schedule. I think we're whereabouts I thought we would be, which is 5th, but challenging for 4th. And you know what? We're in a good position to do that, especially with a game in hand, 3 points off the top 4. I don't think you can ask for more than that from where we were coming from and where we're trying to get to. And you look at some of the games that we've lost this season and dropped points in, and it could have been a different story. Look, that's the same for a lot of teams, if buts and maybes. But definitely for us, I think there's a lot of positives to go by. And also what I'm really impressed with is that every time we've had a blip, so, okay, the first 2 games were the first blip, let's say, to Brighton-Brentford. Then we went all the way up to City, kind of winning games, kind of stabilising ourselves, doing okay. Then we lost the first Europa League game in a shit fashion against Real Sociedad, but we stabilised and won every single game after that within the groups, just fell short. Then after City, we stabilise and go all the way up to Aston Villa, I think, in the league before we lose again. Draws against Chelsea, draws against Newcastle. But you're thinking, well, what's going on? How are we always managing to bounce back? How are we always managing to find a way to bounce back? And that is credit to the managers, and that is credit to these players. A lot of these players were here last year. Remember in the summer, it wasn't too long ago, everyone was saying, sell all of these players. They'll throw you under the bus. They'll do this. They'll do that. And I'm not saying that those things aren't around the corner and bad results aren't around the corner, but we've definitely seen a mentality shift with this manager, and he's instilling that within us to keep going. And you can't ask for much more than that from last year to now. Garnacho, wow. Now we've got to talk about it. I said it in my last fan view, and it's almost like a broken record, really. He's a breath of fresh air. The kids had to wait so long to get his opportunity, and rightly so, because, Erik Ten Hag has said, about his attitude. And what I liked about the stuff after today's game was that they didn't draw back to that, he had his attitude thing, but now he's good. It's done. It's in the past. The kid is absolutely taking his opportunity. He's buying in to what Ten Hag is doing. And a lot of people have mentioned on their fan views today, we've got the perfect manager for a player like Garnacho. He's literally come into the club at the perfect time, stumbled upon this goldmine of a player who we've got from Atletico Madrid, I think, in 2020, and brought him into our youth academy, who is actually due for renewal in his contract as well. He keeps going like that. Sign the Ting. Let's just get him to sign it anyway. Needs to. But Ten Hag is the perfect manager to bring him to the forefront. And it's another string to Ten Hag's bow, because I am bigging up Garnacho, which I'll talk about in the Golden Set. But what Ten Hag's doing is he's keeping the young players on their toes to show that there's a pathway and show that if you get your attitude right, you get an opportunity. He's keeping experienced players on their toes as well, by showing them no one's too good to get dropped. Doesn't matter what you've done in the past. You're not going to play every game. Arts Harry Maguire, Arts Luke Shaw, Arts players like Ronaldo. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Arts Casemiro when he first got here. Arts Luke Shaw. Everyone's having to earn their way. And that's fantastic as well. But Garnacho, like I said, he comes straight on. Decadova reads on a yellow card, and straight away, the confidence that the team has in him to get the ball to the left-hand side as quickly as possible and get him to take on his man. Decadova Reid was literally frightened of him. Could have given away a penalty. More of a leg tangling, okay, but he's making something happen. Every time he got the ball, he made something happen. And that's just fantastic from him. And then the pass that Christian Eriksen plays, like I spoke about earlier, was inch perfect. But Garnacho kind of still has no right to do that. He starts behind Reid. Yeah, Reid could be a bit tired. It's the last few seconds of the game. Garnacho's fresh. But he has the willingness to make an impact and to slot the finish away as well. Gave you a little bit of the Ronaldo vibes, 2007, I think it was. Ronaldo look, he's not as good as Ronaldo. Let's not start doing that. But in terms of scoring a goal that had big importance, in the way that he scored it last minute, Ronaldo's goal was better. Obviously, we went on to win the league that year, etc., etc. That pretty much won us the league. But he just gave it just a little flash, a little vibe, a little bit of arrogance I think he possesses, which clearly had to be tamed with the mentality thing. But I think he's got it. I think this kid really does have it. We have to keep him grounded, keep him humble. And now he's definitely played his way into the first team proper, 100%. And I think him not going to the World Cup again is good. He can stay with Ten Hag, stay calm, be told, listen, you're 18, you're going to go to the next World Cup. You're going to go to the next Copa America with Argentina. This is all here for you. Just keep focused and keep going. And he absolutely deserves that. You know, the games he's been coming on and he's been having such a massive impact. So Garnacho, top draw. My man of the match, though, is Christian Eriksen. It is Christian Eriksen because I just think he had a hand in both goals at the right moments, at the right times. But Garnacho, the kid's just absolutely flying. So big him up. Long may it continue. Let me know what you guys think. Peace.